Samsaradava Nalita Loka Chanaya Karanya Ganaganatvam Praptasya Kalyana Gunanavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Mahaprabhu Kirtanitya Gita Paritya Madhya Manasarasena Romanchakampa Shutaranga Bhajo Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Shivigara Dhananitya Nana Shingaratan Mandira Majanara Yuktasya Bhaktam Shaniyanjatopi Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Chaturvidashi Bhagavad Prasada Swarnana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangha Kritaiva Triptim Bhajata Sadeva Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Shri Radhikama Davayora Para Madhurya Lila Guna Rupa Namna Bhakti Shanasvadana Lalupasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Nikunjayuna Yatikelisiyai Yayali Biyukti Apekshaniya Tatrati Dakshadati Valabhasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Sakshadaridvina Samasta Shastra Uktastata Bhavyata Iva Sadvi Kintu Prabhuya Pyevartasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarabindam. Asya prasadad Bhagavad prasada Yasya prasada Nagati kutapi. Dayam subham sasya yasyascha sandhyam Vande Guru Shri Charanarabindam. 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 Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Dishatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Jaya Radha Nila Mada Radha Nila Mada Shri Hare. Jaya Radha Nila Mada Radha Nila Mada Shri Hare. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Lakshmana Hanuman. Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Nitya Haribo, 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 Nitya Haribo.
Vishnu Pada Pramamsa Patakacharya Shtota Shata Shishit Matis Divine Grace Aparchana Rinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBTP I found Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Pada Pramamsa Patakacharya Shtota Shata Shishit Matis Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Rinda Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premisika Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vardhapurmi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam Chaitra Jagnapuri Dham Ki Jai. Shri Ayodhya Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the Sambho devotees. All glories to the Sambho devotees. All glories to the Sambho devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlada Lada Daine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilatankanakalaye. Tankanakalaye. Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha. Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha. Yato yato yami tato Narsimha. Bahir Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha. Bahir Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha. Narsingamadim Sharanam Prapade. Tava Kara Kamala Varenakam Adbhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadhirta Narhari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare. Jaya Keshavadhirta Narhari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Keshavadhirta Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Ananta Dev Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Ananta Dev Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Ananta Dev Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada भक्ति विघ्ननाशक नरसिंह देव भगवान की भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय।
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्णा प्रेयसी 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 नमो नमः राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो हे अभिलाषी 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 ये तुम्हार शरण लो तारा वांछ पूर्ण हो ये तुम्हार शरण लो तारा वांछ पूर्ण हो कृपा कोरी कोरो तारे वृंदावन वासी कृपा कोरी कोरो तारे वृंदावन वासी मोराए अभिलाष विलास कुंज दियो वास मोराए अभिलाष विलास कुंज दियो वास नयने हेरिबो सदा युगल रूप राशि नयने सदा युगल रूप राशि ए निवेदन धारो सखीरनुगत करो ए निवेदन सखीरनुगत करो सेवाधिकार दिए करो निज दासी से ये करो निज दासी दीना कृष्ण दासे को ये न मोरा हो दीना कृष्ण दासे को ये न मोरा हो श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा ये न भासी श्री राधा प्रेमे श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा ये न भासी श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा ये न भासी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः प्रेयसी नमो नमः यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे या च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय वृंदे देवी 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 जय वृंदा देवी जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवश च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय केशवश च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो श्री वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवश च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवश च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी श्री वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवश च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः प्रियाय केशवश च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय।
Thus within my vision I shall behold the beautiful path and Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me follow a careful dance of the Virgin. Please give me the privilege devotional service and make me own maid servant. This very fallen lowly servant of Krishna prays, may I always swim in the love Shri Radha and Govinda. Srimati Tulasi Maharani ki jai. There are 10 fences in the matter of chanting holy names should be avoided, and they are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Brahma to be equal to independent name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literature pursuant to Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider chanting Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities, offering the Vedas fruity activities, karma, ganda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about glorious holy name. 10. To not complete faith in the chanting holy names, and to maintain material attachments, even after standing so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims the Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve desired success, Krishna, Prema. Now let us offer most humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just as I trees who can fulfill to everyone, and have full compassion for the fallen conditions. So, one. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Jeto darpana marjanam pavamahadavagni nirvapanam. Shriya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavatu jivanam. Anandam pudivardhanam pradipadam purunarmita sadanam. Sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva shaktis. Tatra pita niyamita smaranena kalaha etadishi tava kripa bhagavam mamapi durudaivami desham iha janina nurakaha trinatapi sunijena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sataharihi na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam vajagadisha kamaye Mama Jammani Jammanishvare Bhavata Bhaktir Haituki Tavayi Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Ham Vishame Bhavam Pudo Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Duri Satwesham Vichintaya Nayanam Garadashuru Dharaya Vadanam Gad Gada Rudaya Gira Pulakai Nichitam Vapurkada Tava Nama Grahane Bhavishati Yuga idam nimishena chakshusha pravisha idam shunya idam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me ashrisha vapadaradam pinnashtumam adarshanam marmahatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidathatu lampado matprana nathastu sa eva na paraha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Glory to Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleans the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes fire of conditional life, repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is prime benediction of humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which all always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone grant all benediction human beings, thus you have hundreds of millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. These transcendental names have invested all your transcendental energies. They are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, our kindness enables us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate and no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor to desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Samharananda Krishna, I am an eternal servitor, yet somehow I fall in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of Adam the lotus feet. Oh my Lord, while my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant the holy name, while my voice choke up, when my hairs by my body stand at the recitation of your name. Oh Govinda, feeling of separation, I'm constant moment to be like a great millennium. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Shri Mangala Charana prayers ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshum Litam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuitam Savatutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshapanavi Devi Daitaya Kripaptaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhavin Namaha Madhuryo Jala Premadya Shri Rupa Nuka Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Mutaye Dinatarine Rupa Nuka Virudapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Mutaye Vipalambara Sambhote Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumistvam Nirteshta Sajanapriyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpadurupyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha Pancha Tattvatamkam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Sratoro Pango Mama Manda Materkati Masarva Swapadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Divindadanya Kalpaju Mata Shimadra Nagara Singhasanasto Shimadratha Shila Govinda Devo Prishtari Bi Sevyamano Smarami Shiman Rasa Rasaram Bivam Shivata Tata Stitaha Karsham Venu Soner Gopir Gopinatha Shiyestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishvari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Panamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Mangala Charana prayers ki jai. Shri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadyaradya Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Parakara Satma Sukha Pariksha Lakshariteshu Surabhi Rabi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasam Brahmase Vimanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Venum Kavanantam Aravinda Dalaya Daksham Parhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Gandarpa Goti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami. อาโลละชันตะคะละสะวันมาเดวัมสีรานังกดัมพนยเกลิกลาวิลาสัมชามัมเทปังกลลิตัมยตประกาชัมโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิอังกานิยัสสะสะคะเลนติยริติมันติปชันติปันติขลยันติชิรัมจักันติอานันตชิมมยสัตุจลวิกรหัสสะโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิอद्วยธรรมโชตมนาติมนันตรูปัมอาเดียมปุราณปุรุชัมนวโยวนัมจะเวเดชุดูลปัมอดูลปัมอาตมปักโตโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิปันทาสตุโคติชตวัสสรสัมปกามิววายุรธาปิมนโสมุนิปังกวานัมโสภิยสติยปปตสิมยวิจินตตัตเวโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิเอโคปิยสรชัยตุมจักตันตโคติมยาจักติรัสติจักตันทชยายตันตหะอันตันทรัสทะปรมานุชยันตรัสธัมโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิยัดภาวภาวิทติโยมนุจาสเทวะสัมพราเพรูปมหิมาสนยานปูชาสุขเทยมเอวนิกมาปฏิตัยสตุวันติโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิอานันตชิมรสปฏิภาวิตาปิสตาปิยเอวันจรูปตยาคลาภิโกโลกเอวนิวสัตถคิลาตมปูโตโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิพริมันจนะชุรุทภักติวิโลชเนนะสันตสเตวหิตเยชุวิโลกยันติยัมชามสุนดมชินเทกุณสวรูปัมโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิรามาติมุติชุขลานยเมนทิชตันนานาวทารมคโรภุวเนชุกินตุคริชนาสวยัมสมปวัตพรมภุมามโยโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิยัสสะพระปาปะวัตโตจักตันทโคติชเชชวิสุตาติวิปุติบินนัมทัตประมาณิชกลัมอนันตมเชชบูตัมโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิมายาหิยัสสะจักตันทชตานิสุเตทายกุญยทัตวิชเวดาวิตายมานะสัตวาวลัมปิภรสัตวัมวิชุตสัตวัมโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิอานันตชิมยรสัตมัตยมนสุยาพรานินามปฏิพลังสมรตังอุเปตยาลีลายเตนะปุวนานิเจเจจสรัมโกวินดมาดิปุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิโกโลกนามนินิจตามนิทะเลชตัสสะเตวีมเหชหริตามสุเทชุเตประภาวัญชยวิหิตาสเยนะโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิชิสติสติพลายสาตนชักติเรขาชาเยวยัสสะปรวนานิปิปาร์ติตุกาอิชานุรูปะเมเพสชาเชชเตสาโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิक्षिरं यथा तदि विकार विशेष योगा संजायते न हि तथा पृथक्स्ति हेतोः यशां पुथमपि तथा समुपैति कार्यात् गोविन्दमादि पुरुषं तमहं पचामि दीपार्च एव हि दशान्तरम् अपिपेत्य दीपायते विविध हेतु समार्णधर्मा यस्तात्विक एव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादि पुरुषं तमहं पचामिยาคารนารนวจเลปฏิทิสมโยกนิตรมนันทจักตันตสโรมคูปะอาดารชักติมอวลัมเปียพรามสวมุติมโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิยัสไซคณิชวสิตคาลมตาวลัมเปียจีวันติโลมวิรจาจักตันตนาทะวิชนุมหังสอิหยัสกลาวิเชชุโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิปาสวังยถาชมชักเลชุนิเจชุเตจะสุยยัมขิยประคตยะเตปิตาตวตัตระประมายเอชจักตันตวิตารณคารตาโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิยัตปาตภาลวยุกังวินิตายคุมบาตวันตุยพระนามสมัยเยสกนาธิราชะวิกนังวิหันตุมลัมเสจักทรยัสสะโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิ Agnir Gaganam Ambu Marutishascha Kalastatma Manasiti Jagatrayani Yasma Bhavanti Vipavanti Vishanti Yamcha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ya Chaksha Esha Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samasta Suramurti Ashesha Teja Yasya Kanya Brahmati Samprita Kala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Dharmo Tapapanchaya Shutayastapamsi Brahmadi Kita Padakavadayascha Jiva Yadata Matar Vipava Pakata Prabhava Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yastrinda Gopa Matarinda Mahosa Karma Bandanurupa Parapajanam Adanoti Karma Ninyirta Hati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yam Krota Kama Sahaja Panayadi Bidi Vasare Moha Guru Gaura Vaseva Bhavi Sanchinta Tassa Sadvishnum Tanur Aparete Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Shriya Ganta Ganta Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Duruma Bhumi Chintamani Gunamayi Toyam Mamitam Kathaganam Natyam Gamanam Ampi Vamshi Priyasaki Chidanandam Jorte Param Api Tada Swadem Apicha Sayatra Kshirabdi Sarvati Surabi Biyascha Sumahan Nimeshar Darkuva Vrajati Nahi Yatarapi Samayaha Pajeshri Tadvipam Tamaham Iha Golokam Itiyam Vedantaste Santakshti Virachara Katipaye Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadirati Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Krishna, who in the Govinda is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and the prime cause of all causes. Shri Brahma Samhita Ki Jai. Translation. I worship Govinda, the primary Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire, in abode and both built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purple trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, around whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers, beautified with the moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with the flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form as Shama Sundar is eternally manifest. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha. Yet he is the person possessing the beauty of blooming youth. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord. Only the tip of the toes of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years. He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe, at one and at the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore. I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men, who are imbued with devotion, sing the mantra suktas told by the Vedas, by gaining the appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure. The embodiment of the ecstatic potency possesses 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confidants, Sakis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form. Permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyamasundar, Krishna himself, with inconceivable and innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the self of love. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna and the different avatars in the forms of Rama, Nrsimha, Vamana, etc., as his subjective portions.
Whimsically, but they do not strictly follow the sacrificial rules and regulations mentioned in the Vedas. It is understood that by regulation there are different plates of sacrifice required, such as Shrak, Shuva, Barhish, Chaturhotra, Ida, Chamasa, Prasitra, Graha, and Agnihotra. One cannot achieve the results of sacrifice unless one observes the strict regulations. In this age, there is practically no facility for performing sacrifices in strict discipline. Therefore, in this age of Kali, there is a stricture regarding such sacrifices. It is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yagya and nothing more. The incarnation of the Supreme Lord is Yagneshwara. And unless one has respect for the incarnation of the Lord, he cannot perfectly perform sacrifice. In other words, taking shelter of the Lord and rendering service unto him is the factual performance of all sacrifices. As explained herein, different plates of sacrifice correspond to the different parts of the body of the Lord's incarnation. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, it is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yajna to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of Yajna performance. Well, this is very interesting verse and purport because what we see Prabhupada is doing is explaining the, let's call it, traditional uh, way of practicing and understanding uh, Vedic knowledge, but uh, he comes to the conclusion after explaining all the different types of worship that you have to perform in traditional Vedic practices, that uh, in other words, taking shelter of the Lord and rendering service unto him is the factual performance of all sacrifices, as explained herein. Therefore, different plates of sacrifice correspond to different parts of the body of the Lord's incarnation. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, it is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yajna to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of Yajna performance. So, in one quick, let's say, stroke, he eliminates all the practices of the Vedavadaratas, the so called followers of the Vedas, who are more interested in elevation to the higher spiritual planets and ultimately to perform these sacrifices for sense gratification on the higher planets, and basically misunderstand what is the real purport of the Vedas. Now, uh, someone could say, well, why don't they just eliminate all the karma kanda uh, parts of the Vedas and just talk about, surrendering to Krishna and chanting Hare Krishna and going back to Godhead? Well, that would uh, that that is what we should do in the sense, and basically Prabhupada is doing that. It's just like after explaining all these complicated things, at the end he says different places of sacrifice correspond to the different parts of the body of the Lord's incarnation. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, it is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yajna to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of Yajna performance. Now, all these things that are being talked about here is all about performing Yajna for uh, having positive results in human life. But there are different types of yajnas. What Prabhupada is doing is explaining what's called, Shrak, Shruva, Varhish, Chaturhotra, Ida, Chamasa, Prasitra, Graha, and Agnihotra. These are different types of sacrificial offerings to the Lord for purification and elevation to higher planets. Uh, And then he says, one cannot achieve the results of sacrifice unless one observes the strict regulations. In other words, it's almost impossible for someone today to properly perform these yagyas, as explained here. Maybe in ancient times it was possible because people were not, let's say, disturbed or distracted by so many things, and they could focus on doing the strict performances. But today, everybody's distracted. We hardly can wake up early in the morning and hear something about Krishna, and then we have to go to work, and all day long we more or less, I would say, more or less forget Krishna, and so it's not an easy thing in this age. However, if one, and, and as Prabhupada says at the end of this purport, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, it is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yagya to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of Yagya performance. So therefore, it's not important to, as the Vedavada Ratas do today, they have a little Agnihotra uh, in, uh, uh, an Agnihotra plate, and they make a fire sacrifice early in the morning and later on at night, and they they chant certain mantras, and they think that they are doing their duty. Well, there might be some advantage to doing that, but uh, Prabhupada says here, one cannot achieve the results of sacrifice unless one observes the strict regulations. In this age, there's practically no facility for performing sacrifices in strict discipline. So, in other words, he's saying, basically, don't even try this because we're not qualified by the fact that we're living in this age and the fact that we have so many other distractions and so forth. Uh, Therefore, when he says the incarnation of the Supreme Lord as Yagneswara, uh, and unless one has respect for the incarnation of the Lord, he cannot perfectly perform sacrifice. In other words, taking shelter of the Lord and rendering service unto him is the factual performance of all sacrifices. So that's the main point right there. In other words, taking shelter of the Lord and rendering service to him is the factual performance of all sacrifices, as explained herein. Different plates of sacrifice correspond to the different parts of the body of the Lord's incarnation. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, it is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yajna to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of Yajna performance. So we still have priests today that are doing all these Yajna performances or trying to do them as they were done in ancient times. But it's not possible to correctly do them in this age because uh, the priests that are present today are not qualified to do it. But if you simply perform Sankirtan Yajna, this pleases Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that therefore Prabhupada says this should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the results of yajna performance. In other words, you don't have to do all these complicated yajnas, saying all these different types of mantras and spending large amounts of money to do them. We simply engage in chanting Hare Krishna and worshiping the Lord with Aarti and chanting sweet, let's say, mantras. And the sweetest mantra, of course, is Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And then we see that in this age, there was someone like Haridas Thakur. All he did was chant Hare Krishna, and he attained perfection. And he was a supremely elevated devotee. So he didn't. We don't really hear of him chanting all the mantras that are being chanted by priests today. He was just chanting Hare Krishna and strictly following Krishna consciousness, chanting, dancing, feasting, and always trying to help others become Krishna conscious. So the Vedavadis or Vedavadaratas, they think that you have to strictly follow the Vedas and the performances of sacrifice mentioned in the Vedas. And Prabhupada says they have recently made a rule in their group to formally observe daily sacrifice. They simply ignite a small fire and offer something whimsically, but they do not strictly follow the sacrificial rules and regulations mentioned in the Vedas. Why? Because it's too difficult in this age. That's why they don't have the time, nor do they have knowledge to do them. So, therefore, what is the solution? Well, the solution is, as Prabhupada says, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, it is strictly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yajna to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of yajna performance. So every day we should chant our rounds, minimum 16 rounds, but there's no maximum. You can chant 64 rounds if you have the time and the perseverance to do it. But the holy name is the recommended uh, dharma or yajna that you should perform. You don't need to do anything else. Just chant Hare Krishna and follow the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness, and you'll achieve all the results that were formerly supposed to be achieved through all the strict and the very complicated yajna process. The best yajna is Sankirtan yajna. That's that is what is recommended in the age of Kali as the only yajna that can be performed successfully. All the other yajnas are virtually impossible to perform correctly in this age. So therefore, we see that Lord Chaitanya came and demonstrated that Sankirtan Yajna is the Yuga Dharma in this age, and he was always chanting and dancing, distributing prasadam, and encouraging devotees to always keep the name of Krishna on their tongue and mind. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the real purport of the Vedas, especially in Kali Yuga. And unless we understand this, we might become a Veda Vadarata, someone who says, "Oh no, I got to read all the Vedas and try and follow all the yajnas that they do and this and that." Well, no, you're not going to be successful at that. I can guarantee you. It might look like you're successful, but no. In the end, there's still material desires that you want to achieve. But if you follow Lord Chaitanya's method, and what is that? Is Sankirtan Yajna, chanting and dancing and having nice prasada and distributing knowledge of how to worship Krishna to others. That is the way in this age. Sankirtan Yajna is the only yajna that you can perform successfully in the age of Kali Yuga. Okay, so the Vedas can liberate you in one way, and they can also tie you up and get you confused because they're so vast. And sometimes it looks contradictory. So it's better just to stick to Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and chant Hare Krishna continually. And then you'll be free of all confusion and let's say, dualities. Uh, these dualities are things that are very disconcerting because, on the one hand, it says you should do this puja, that puja, and this sacrifice and that sacrifice. On the other hand, it says just chant Hare Krishna. So it looks very, very confusing, or this a seeming duality. Uh, just like when uh, they were instituting, uh, uh, when Prabhupada was present, they were uh, uh, inaugurating a new temple. So our Prabhupada invited Vedic uh, priests to come and say a whole bunch of mantras. And the devotees asked him, why did you do that? You know, and he said, well, if you don't do it, people will think that it's not bona fide. But actually, we just have to chant Hare Krishna. But just to satisfy the outside people that were bona fide, he invited the Vedic mantra guys to come and do all their mantras. He said, but actually, we just have to chant Hare Krishna, and Krishna will be very satisfied, or Chaitanya will be very satisfied. And basically, that's what he's saying here at the end of the purport of Canto 3, Chapter 13, Text 36. Prabhupada says, different plates of sacrifice correspond to the different parts of the body of the Lord's incarnation. So when it refers to plates of sacrifice, it means it's called a metaphor. In other words, it's using a word that is meant to mean something other than what it normally would mean. So, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, it is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yagya to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of yagya performance. So this is the only yagya that we can perform successfully in the age of Kali. Now, you'll see many other yagyas being performed, even sometimes in ISKCON. They bring in the people that can chant so many mantras and so many fire sacrifices and so forth. But actually, the real yagya is chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, what should we take away from this? Well, we should understand that when Lord Chaitanya came, he simplified the whole process of how to practice Krishna consciousness and attain success easily in the age of Kali, which is the worst time in the world to achieve liberation from the cycle of birth and death. And if we use the techniques used in previous ages, we will probably not achieve the desired result. This is to go back to Godhead. The desired result is not learning a myriad number of mantras that you can recite for hours and hours. The desired result is go back to Godhead, and the most direct way to do that in this age, as Prabhupada says, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, it is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yagya to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of Yagya performance. So basically, all these Yagyas that have been performed today by different priests, they're basically not recommended in the Vedic tradition because this is Kali Yuga. This is not the first time, let's say, this is not the previous times. This is a time where most people are distracted by sense gratification. but they can chant Hare Krishna very easily and go back to Godhead in this age. So there, and that's why Prabhupada says in the 11th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yajna to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of Yajna performance. So repetition is necessary in spiritual circles because in Kali Yuga our memory is always failing us, and it's better to have repetition in order to remember what is essential as opposed to what is not essential. So there's so much literature, so many mantras, so many yagas that are performed, but actually, when it comes down to the truth is one should perform Sankirtan Yaga to please the Lord's incarnation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of Yagya performance. So there you are. It's good news because otherwise we will take all these tangential uh, ways of trying to be, a spiritual person, and you'll not really achieve the purpose that's intended, which is to develop love and devotion for Lord Chaitanya and go back to Godhead. So thank you very much. Are there any questions anyone would like to ask? You can ask it now. We have this interactive, uh, let's say, technology. If not, you can write.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, can you hear me? Hare Krishna.
Okay. Yeah, now you can hear probably. Okay.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna. Well, the simple answer is that people are not following bona fide gurus. If you have a bona fide guru, you will do whatever is pleasing to Krishna or Radha and Krishna. And that is, as it says here, uh, that is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yagya to please the Lord's incarnation at Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of Yagya performance. There it is. So, if you come to the temple and you see that there's a person performing a yagya, that they're saying a lot of different mantras and there's fire sacrifice and things like that, but there's no chanting of Hare Krishna, then there's a problem. Because the only yagya that is capable of being successful is chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. You know, so therefore, and that's what's being said here in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto. It is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yagya to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of yagya performance. In other words, any yagya where they're not strictly chanting the holy names of Krishna or Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it's not going to be successful in Kali Yuga. There you go. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you.
So if you go to a yagya and they're not chanting Hare Krishna, there's a problem.
So Maharaj, like at the end of all the yajnas, one thing they say is like, Sarvam Krishna Arpanamastu.
Yeah.
So the question is like, is that sufficient?
You know, I think whenever I go to yagyas, while the priest is saying all those mantras, I'm chanting Hare Krishna in my mind. And all you have to do is chant the Hare Krishna mantra. You don't have to chant all those other yagyas. And you begin with glorifying Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada, and then you just chant Hare Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best way to do yagya. You don't have to chant all those other mantras. But the Vedavadaratas, they think that if you don't chant all those other mantras, you're not doing anything correctly. Well, that's their point of view. But what did Haridas Thakur do? Just chanted Hare Krishna. And I don't think there's anybody else that's on the level of Haridas Thakur in Seattle that perform yagyas. So we should follow Haridas Thakur, not the people. Haribol.
I can correlate Maharaj now when in our temple when priest is doing the sacrifice with lot of mantras, you will keep chanting the Hare Krishna parallelly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one thing, Maharaj, what I see is, general public, they really cannot pronounce it properly. Those Sanskrit hymns and mantras and everything. Majority people, only maybe few qualified priests they can do, but majority people can easily chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this purifies us, as well as we can also do our own sacrifices through that.
Absolutely. And here says that in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yagya to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of yajna performance. So that's what we should perform. That's what we should do. We should perform Sankirtan yajna to please Lord Chaitanya. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of yajna performance. Haribol. So that's going to eliminate a lot of priests, even maybe some of our own priests. You know, we should just simply be chanting the Hare Krishna Maha.
The purpose of all Vedas is to know Krishna, right?
Yes.
But do the Vedavadas are
Serve Krishna.
serve Krishna?
Yeah.
So the Vedavadas, Vadis are saying here that there is nothing more than performances of sacrifice mentioned in the Vedas.
Yes.
So, when they do all these sacrifices, are they cognizant of the purpose of Vedas?
Not really.
Mm.
Not really. They have to come to the point of knowing Lord Chaitanya and Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they don't need to say all the Vedas where they're glorifying different devatas and so forth. It's not necessary. Simply worship Lord Chaitanya in the age of Kali, and you'll achieve the result of all the other yajnas by doing that. Unfortunately, see, there are so many gurus and so many opinions, but the ultimate opinion is in Kali Yuga, the only sacrifice that you can do successfully is Sankirtan Yajna. Now, why are other priests, maybe some our own priests, saying so many different mantras? Well, they haven't read the Shastra correctly. That's why. And we need to go back to the basics. And the basics in Kali Yuga, the basics is that in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, it is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yajna to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of yajna performance. There it is. You can make a panel, and with that explanation, and put it in the temple, right in the temple, so that people know that this is the real thing. And if someone is doing something else, it's not the real thing. So you can do that. Haribol. So that's Canto 3, Chapter 13, and the last couple of sentences where you find this statement. And that should be our guiding rule in the temple. Haribol. Yeah.
That's one question.
Yeah.
When are we not affected by the Veda values? I can, from my experience, I can tell I can still be affected by Veda values, Veda pathas.
Mm-hmm.
What should we do? Like, what is the symptom? What stage should we have reached to be not affected by the Veda vathas?
Well, don't invite them to your house to do any pujas. That's one way. And if you're invited to go to other places where they're going to be present, just keep chanting Hare Krishna. As long as they're saying all their mantras, you just keep chanting this Hare Krishna mantra. Right? Mm-hmm. We should always have the Hare Krishna mantra in our mind and on our lips. Right? Mm-hmm. So that way you're not affected by all the mantras they're saying. Anyway, you don't even understand what all their mantras mean. You don't understand. Every once in a while you'll hear, Agni Dev, or Agni Dev, or you'll hear, names of some demigods in the mantra, and that's the only thing you recognize. All the rest of the words you don't really recognize. So it's better to just keep chanting Hare Krishna. you might be forced to go to some yagya where they're going to chant all these different mantras because it's some family tradition, and if you don't go, the family will be insulted or something.
Yeah,
Right?
yes.
So, okay, so while they're chanting all those mantras, you keep chanting Hare Krishna silently in your mind, or at a very low level volume on your lips, you know. And they can chant their mantra, you chant the Maha Mantra, the great mantra for the liberation of all living entities. So we live in a world in which there are many different levels of understanding. But why should we be, let's say, coerced to accept lower levels? No, we should go to the highest level and not deviate from it. You know, and then you'll see at the moment of death, when you're chanting Hare Krishna and someone else is chanting a Durga mantra, or you know, some other mantra, you know, they see Durga, they don't actually see Krishna, and you know, they stay in the material world, but you go back to Godhead because you're focused completely on Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or Lord Rama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So let's not be intimidated or coerced by the lower level mantra pronunciation. We should take the best and leave the rest, as they say in English. Take the best and leave the rest.
But
That's an easy mantra, isn't it? Take the best and leave the rest. Go ahead.
Krishna also says that the flowery, don't get attached to the flowery language of the Vedas.
Yes, yes, exactly.
So basically, the Vedavada
Vedavada Ratas.
Yeah, so they're stuck on the flowery language, and then, but the essence is, I mean, the essence is actually what I hear in the final sentence of any sacrifice is Sarvam Krishnarpanam. So we might as well just
Chant the names of Krishna.
Is equally pleased, or even greatly pleased.
No, much better pleased. Yeah, much better.
Maharaj, what is it deluding the Vedavadas to stick to flowery language than the essence? What is it stopping them?
False gurus.
Past gurus.
Yeah. They'll like Satguru. He doesn't really believe in God, but he puts up some picture or some statue of Shiva, you know, to sort of give an aura of, let's say, being bona fide. And all the people who don't know anything about real Vedic knowledge, they feel as if he's a bona fide guru, but he's not. He doesn't really have, you know, real, let's say, faith in Lord Shiva even. You know, it's just to do something that looks somewhat bona fide to the mass of people. So anyway, that's his problem. It's not our problem. We have Srila Prabhupada and Vaishnava Acharyas, so we have bona fide gurus. Just follow what they say.
We help the ones that got affected by these past gurus, Maharaj.
Well, it's definitely not by getting to arguments with them. It's by developing Krishna consciousness, helping those people who are interested to hear from us. Not everybody is going to follow these other nonsense gurus. There are sincere people out there, as long as we are preaching and explaining what the truth is. So, you know, don't be discouraged, because most people are attracted by nonsense representatives of so-called Vedic Dharma. Why? Because they're still engaged in, you know, sinful activities. When they give up all sinful activities, they'll be attracted by Lord Chaitanya and chanting Hare Krishna. So our preaching is to help people give up those sinful activities so that they can go to the next level where they actually uh, join Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan party.
Mm.
Otherwise, what do these other gurus do? They perform a lot of Vedic so-called fire sacrifices, Agnihotra, this thing, that thing. They get you to say this mantra, that mantra. Uh, that's the way they get their bread and butter, as we say. It's a business, and it's a good business for them. But and we think that this is all important, but not. No, actually, it's not. Just and here it says, that one should perform Sankirtan Yagya to please Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of yagya performance. That's all. In fact, we should, put that statement up in the temple.
Starting from the
In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto. Right? So then people can look at that and say, oh, I never heard that before.
Is there a particular verse in 11th canto?
What's that?
Is there a particular verse that?
Yes, there is. You're going to have to look it up in the 11th canto.
Yeah, we can look that up.
Yeah. No, you just print that, you just type that in, and then in the internet, and it'll take you to the 11th canto and the right verse. Yeah. Okay.
I grew up, Maharaj, where we used to do a lot of fire sacrifice in the home, like
Agnihotra. Yeah.
different types, like maybe every few months one fire sacrifice with a lot of brahmanas coming and doing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there's some benefit there. It's not that it's completely wrong, but what did you understand?
not much.
Yeah.
But the only thing,
But it helped you because you became a devotee.
only thing is, we were like mostly respecting and serving the brahmanas. That's what I learned.
Yeah, so there was some benefit there.
But not the mantra side.
Well, you see, there is family tradition on one side and by Krishna conscious philosophy on the other side. So the family tradition sometimes is so powerful that it's hard to give it up. But there's some benefits in the family tradition. But to think that the family tradition is the end of all Vedic knowledge is a mistake. You have to go further to pure Krishna consciousness. But not everyone is fortunate enough to do that in this age. Actually, it's a rare thing to understand who Lord Chaitanya is and follow the Sankirtan movement. So you should count yourself as being very fortunate.
Yeah, and just I was googling and I found that the last verse of entire Srimad Bhagavatam
Okay.
ends with this same thing, that I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Hari, the congregational chanting of whose is all sinful reactions, and the offering of obeisances unto whom relieves all material suffering.
That's a lot to digest on your plate. But that's the truth. That's the absolute truth.
One last bit for me.
Yes.
Topic.
Yes.
Let's say a group of people, again, this maybe false gurus or something like that, they say, okay, we'll also do Sankirtan Yajna, but we'll do Vishnu Sahasranama, we'll bring people together, we read the Vishnu Sahasranama loudly. Should we?
Well, Vishnu Sahasranama is chanting the names of the Lord.
So that is also considered as a
It's bona fide. It's bona fide because you're just chanting the names of the Lord. 1,001 or something chanting of the names of the Lord, so it's bona fide. Right. Usually, people, say it so quickly, it's hard to follow.
Yeah.
And to Actually, you have to go through each name of the Lord and understand what it means. But chanting it is also beneficial, but usually it turns out to be a mechanical thing. And who can chant the fastest? That's the one that's. uh, yeah, see, there's a difference between reciting something mechanically and reciting something with genuine understanding of what it means. And to do that, you have to you would have to slowly chant it and understand the meaning of each word, right? Not every time you chant it, but at least once or twice or three times you should go over it, going word by word slowly and understanding what each word means. Otherwise, it's just mechanical repetition without understanding really what it's all about. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you'll see someone tells you, "Well, my daughter, she recites the entire this or that, and then when she gets to be 16 or 18, starts going to college, she stops, and then she gets married, and there's some kids basically stops, not all the time, but most of the time they'll stop doing that. So that's because it's just recitation. It's not you know coming from the heart.